Hotep, chilling with my man, Mr. Scarecrow. Keeps all the bugs and varmints away from my vegetable garden. Well, he don't keep the bugs away, but he keeps the birds and other little pests away. Anyway, aside from that, trying to grow this food, you know, trying to get all my vegetable gardens ready and my raised bed gardens. Man, y'all don't understand how serious this is right now. I mean, I'm getting blindsided. I'm not even seeing it coming. Oh, all right, let me backtrack, get you up to snuff. Back in 2009, you know, I went out to Delaware and Philly to finish, you know, to do my nursing program. Yeah, I know I didn't take my boards yet and the whole yin yang. I know I need to do it, but I got sidetracked. At some point I'm gonna try to finish up, but that's not important. What's important right now is that, unlike a lot of people in the healthcare industry, man, I wasn't indoctrinated. You see what I'm saying? I wasn't schooled, I was educated, because I had supplemental prerequisite information that allowed me to overstand the information that was presented to me. Only a few of you understand or overstand the dialogue that I just shot at you, okay? But in any case, 2009 was out in Philly. And on one of my days off from work, because I had already finished school, it was a day off, and I was feeling kind of hungry. Decided I was gonna cook me a nice little meal, you know, stew some snapper, you know, make some Chinese snap beans, we call it bora, you know, and some rice and vegetables and a salad. Well, as I'm shopping through the market, I come across this gallon jug of olive oil for $15. Now, I know a lot of y'all know that olive oil that big is about $35 to $60 for a container, but here it was, I'm seeing it $15, and I'm thinking I just caught a sale. So I purchased the olive oil, take it home. I get home and I put some of this olive oil in a skillet because I'm gonna simmer some vegetables and kind of, you know, get ready to make a little stew and stuff. So put a little olive oil in the pan, and I got sidetracked doing something else. And while I'm doing that, you know, I had the fire on low, so I knew it was gonna take a minute. But the strangest thing happened. Within a couple of minutes, this acrid smell permeated the air. It was like unbelievable. And I'm like, damn, somebody burnt some electrical wires around here. So I'm running around looking in the hallway. I'm back in there. I said, wait a minute, the smell is coming from my apartment. It's not out here. So I'm looking around the apartment and I'm like, nah, that couldn't have been coming from the skillet. I walk over to the skillet and sure enough, there's the smell. There's no smoke. Okay, there's no smoke or anything like that. It's just an acrid smell. So I turn off the fire and take the pan outside and burn some incense. And I'm looking at the gallon container because now I'm feeling like I got hoodwinked. I'm like, I thought this was olive oil. That cannot be olive oil. That's not how olive oil smells when it's being heated up. I read the label, and in small print are the words blended with canola oil. So I'm thinking to myself, what the heck is canola oil? Is this like sunflower oil or from a sunflower plant? Because canola, it sounds so like granola, you know, it just sounded so natural, like it's some type of vegetable or something. Well, I look up canola, and what do I see next to the word canola? Rape seed. And I said, rape seed? Damn, that sounds like something that's violating something. Rape, you know? So I'm reading up on this rape seed, and as it turns out, rape seed is a plant that's made that's used to make pesticides. It's a very toxic, very poisonous plant. You can have a rapeseed plant sitting in the midst of all these other flowering plants, and insects will avoid it. If an insect even brushes against it, it will die because of the toxic oils that are secreted by this plant. Sometimes they would grind up that plant and spray it on flower beds, and this would keep all the insects away, and the ones that would land on the plants would die. So now I'm like, this is rapeseed? Okay, so this is rapeseed. How did the rapeseed become canola? Well, they said they also found that the oil had a viscous quality about it, so it was good and it would stick to machinery. So they used it to lubricate machinery. At some point, somewhere down the line, somebody got the idea, this plant grows so easy, I wonder if we can make it edible. Maybe then we could use it as an oil substitute for vegetable oil. But then we'd have to figure out how to get all the toxicity out of it. Well, when you read up on it, you'll find out that they didn't get all the toxicity out of it, but they got enough of it out to make it legally edible. Can you believe that? Legally edible? Well, it does something to me. Every time I eat it, my stomach gets messed up. And the way I found that out was as I'm shopping again. This is years later now. I discovered this in 2009, 2011, somewhere in there. Now here it is, 2018, and I've forgotten about the canola oil for a little while. Then I start going to the supermarket and I'm buying some margarine. And I got a tendency to read ingredients. So there it is, I read the ingredients on the margarine. And there's that word again, canola oil. Basically, it's an acronym for Canadian oil and something. Oh boy, I can't remember it right now. But it's Canadian oil. Anyway, the Canadian government is what makes this thing, because the rapeseed plant is native to Canada. In any case, I start to see it. It's in margarine, canola oil. / or vegetable oil, or / and vegetable oil. Slowly but surely it started to be and vegetable oil, and then later on you just see canola oil, no vegetable oil. So now it's in margarine, it's in some butters, it's added to butter, it's in some cream cheeses, it's in biscuits and crackers. You know, I like my restaurant style taco chips or nacho chips, the little triangle ones that I dip in the salsa. It's in all of those now. My favorite peanut butter, Jif. I read the ingredients. Boom, there it is. They don't even say canola with the Jif. They say rapeseed, just straight out. I go to Kroger's to get regular peanut butter. Again, rapeseed. The only place I haven't seen it so far is natural peanut butter, where it's just natural, with no added oils, no added ingredients, just peanut butter, sugar, what's this? Peanut butter, sugar, salt, and actually, I'm sorry, it's salt, sugar, and I guess naturally roasted peanuts that are crushed, ground up. That's it. And some of them don't even have sugar. Some of them don't even have salt. Some of them is just the peanut, just crushed up, and it's natural oils. But that's the natural. But if you buy anything commercial, that's regular for, I guess, broad spectrum consumption, you're going to see rapeseed in it. And you now know what rapeseed and what canola, one and the same, what they are. But it's getting in the food. Now, pay attention, because I know all the social media and all this other stuff, it has you distracted. But years ago, again, almost 20 years ago, I read a documentary by a woman who discussed what they called Codex Alimentarius. And this was an initiative where they would start to take out all the natural nutrients out of food and start to substitute them, okay, with all types of artificial material, to the point where the food that you're eating has no nutrients in it, thereby starving you, because you'll eat all this food, your stomach will be full, but you'll still feel hungry. And at the same time, your body will be trying to build whole cell material with the material given to it and be unable to do that. And as a result, the body will start to build cancerous cells. So there will be an increase in the incidence of cancer. This is part of the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. If you know anything about the eugenics agenda, okay, the extinction level agenda, they're trying to reduce the population by 96%. Sounds crazy, but 96% is the goal. So you're watching, and this is for those that are paying attention, you're seeing people disappearing, coming up missing. You're hearing about biologists that are dying after they've discovered the cures for AIDS and cancer and other types of malicious diseases. Why? Because if you cure something, then the population goes up. Because now that disease is no longer taking bodies. There's no longer casualties. All right? Missing. Then you got all these brothers out there that are getting shot and gunned down by these police. You think the police are not following an agenda that has been laid out before them? You better pay attention. See, all these deaths seem, unrelated. But the reality is, all of them come together to form the extinction agenda. People that are dying from food poisoning. People that are dying from diseases that you thought disappeared years ago that have suddenly resurfaced. I mean, just think about that for a minute. And then you got these serial killers that are running out here. What do you think's happening? You ever heard of the Manchurian Candidate program? It's the sleepers? You better look. And then, of course, you've got the fake news, false flag, people that are crisis actors. All of this comes together, man, to create an environment that's basically just toxic, man, and deadly. But yeah, we're being wiped out. And don't get caught up in the color thing, the race thing, because race is just that race is a construct. They're taking out white folks too. Trust and believe that. They're killing white people too, quiet as it's kept. They're disappearing too, quiet as it's kept. So just realize that you got poor whites that are considered undesirables. You've got poor blacks that are considered undesirables. These are the people that they are getting rid of first. People that you would think would come up missing and nobody would notice. That's what they're counting on. But surprisingly, a lot of these people are connected with other people who will notice their absence. So y'all better pay attention, man, because it's happening right now. You're going to start eating this food, and some of you, man, look, you won't turn up missing, but you ain't going to turn up alive. They're putting it in the food now, and they're spreading the disease. Look, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people think this 911 business was about some terrorist by the name of Osama bin Laden. It was all bogus. First of all, the bin Laden family and the Bush family are tight. I mean, like really tight. But at the same time, they knew that Osama bin Laden was dying from kidney disease. So they used him as a sacrificial lamb. They sacrificed him. He died shortly after 911. He was up in the mountains dying of kidney failure. Don't get it twisted. The bin Laden family was the only family allowed to fly out of this country during 911, when they had initiated a no-fly zone in this country. Don't get played. It was never about blowing up the buildings. Larry Silverstein needed to get those buildings demolished, period, because they were already falling apart. They just slipped that in there, okay, as part of the smoke screen, okay? He needed to get those buildings demolished. And if you notice the way the buildings fell, it was a controlled demolition. But the whole agenda was really about getting poppy growing again in Afghanistan, which is the #1 producer of poppy in the world. Poppy makes morphine, okay? It makes opium, and most importantly, it makes heroin. And if you notice, right after 911, they even have pictures of the soldiers escorting the farmers back into the fields, allowing them to grow the poppy safely. And once that poppy was grown, what happened? They got shipped to America. Heroin was back on the streets. And guess what? The very same people that shipped the heroin into the country and put it on the streets turned around and initiated a war on drugs. You see that? So you get paid for selling all that dope. And then you get paid again for trying to clean up the streets. Now tell me if that ain't some BS. But that's what's happening here, man. And the folks are so caught up in the social media, texting in the phones and talking all this riff-raff dialogue to each other. That's also helping to eliminate some of us, because people are killing over comments made on social media. And at the same time, other people are distracted by the sensationalism. Everybody's caught up on the Maury Povich show, the Jerry Springer shows, all these different soap operas, all these different talk shows and gossips like the He-Man, Wendy Williams. I mean, all of this stuff is a distraction to keep you from focusing. The Black Panther movie, man, y'all got played big time. Just think about this for a minute. Who produced the Black Panther movie? Who's making all the money from the Black Panther movie? Where's that money coming from? Our community. Where is it going? Out of the community. How is it helping us? It gave us hope, made us feel good, made us raise our head for 5 minutes. But now the money's gone and we got nothing to show for it. Y'all better wake up, man. You're getting played because you're distracted. Think of how many families and how many lives that money could save. Think about how many communities that thing could have fixed. But we don't know how to come together. And that's our biggest problem. And so they play us every day by keeping us separated. But there's more to what's going on than a lot of you folks realize, man. But we just milked ourselves. We just got milked for a couple of million, almost $1 billion. And what did it do for our communities? Not a damn thing. What it could have done for our communities if we had came together and we really thought about the money that we were spending, a whole lot. But we don't have that kind of unity, and we don't have that state of mind. It's dark matter. Y'all better pay attention, man. They poisoning you and they jacking up your minds, man. Matrix? Of course there's a matrix. And it looks so good, some of y'all can't even see it. Peace.